The UFC has returned to our backyard. The last time we were here, it was one for the ages. And tonight, another crop of homegrown talent and international visitors look to deliver once again to a sold-out crowd in what I believe are a bunch of some of the best fans in the world. So Fight Week is done and the countdown has begun. So welcome to our official warm-up for the Do at the O2, the Tear Up on the 10s, the Barney in Blighty. Welcome to Fight Day Focus. Welcome to Fight Day Focus. We are the final word before we get to the fights, and for a big fight night in London, we needed some big guests, and we pulled her back from the fight capital. It is McKenzie, Pavacich, and I can't quite believe we have her. She'll always be our queen, Joanna Jedrzejczyk. She's here with us. Thank you so much, both of you, for being here. I know that you two met at International Fight Week, but that's just it. I saw you out in Singapore, then you went to International Fight Week. You're here now as a special guest in London. Have you even had a chance to be retired yet?
No, I really do not have time to think about it now. So I will have to find the time to sit and think about what happened in Singapore, about my decision. It was kind of spontaneous decision, but I knew that I was going to do that if I was going to lose by knockout or whatever. But I'm very happy. My legacy is so big, and happy to be here. I couldn't miss this show, and I knew that when I heard about UFC coming to London once again this year, I was like, no, I need to be here. I'm super excited.
And we got this studio for you. What do you think? What do you think of the Thames?
Amazing.
This backdrop.
Mesmerizing is a good word for this.
It's a good word.
Mesmerizing view.
Yeah. And we're going to confuse you with my English accents.
So go easy on me, okay?
Mackenzie's American accents. And Mackenzie, let's make Joanna a little uncomfortable, because of course she's done so much for our region here in Europe, of course Poland, women's mixed martial arts, but really mixed martial arts in general.
Of course, yeah. We had a little bit of an emotional interview backstage. One of us had just retired and the other was very nervous to be interviewing the queen of the strawweight division. But really, Joanna was such a pioneer in making people believe that women could really succeed in this UFC thing, and that transcended the octagon. It wasn't just more women fighting on the UFC roster, but it also meant more opportunities for us behind the scenes to make this crazy show run.
Good to hear. Thank you so much. But UFC gives this opportunity to be who you really want to be. It doesn't matter what's your gender, religion, color of your skin, or orientation. You can do it, you know, if you believe in yourself. But it's also about the character, charisma, and everything around, you know. So that's why I love UFC. You know?
Well, I'm keen to get your thoughts on a lot of those things that you mentioned, because we've got some quite charismatic characters that are fighting this week on UFC London. And coming up on this show, we are going to be talking about the rising British prospects, all of the talent, but of course, the internationals that are coming over here to spoil the party. We're going to be taking a focus on that co-main event between Jack Hermansson and Chris Curtis. We'll have exclusive interviews with Tom Aspinall and Paddy Pimblett, and another exclusive, Michael Chandler, in a London black cab, talking about, let me get this right, wearing his wife's shorts. Well, let's move it along to the main event between Curtis Blades and the UK zone, Tom Aspinall. The always humble Tom Aspinall hasn't missed a beat this week, Mackenzie. You've been up close with him. You know, how do you think he's handling the spotlight and only his second main event?
I think he's been handling it really well. I think it also helps that he has the fans behind him. We saw that at the weigh-ins today, a crazy reception for Tom Aspinall. So I think he's been handling it really well, but he also had quite a bit of respect for Curtis and his wrestling accolades.
Yeah, and Joanna, Tom, during these face-offs that you were very famous for, Tom finds them very awkward, doesn't do a great deal, kind of looks in the opponent's eyes, smiles and said, let's just have a hug. But you really used to make like a viral moment of those stare downs. What was it that you enjoyed about
Oh
that?
yeah, but Tom is very chilled. I had a chance to talk to him yesterday, day before, and actually he asked me a few times for an advice because he's super excited that he can headline UFC even one more time. And I told him just enjoy it, you know, because all eyes on you and go and take as much as you can. The same way you have to give it back to the fans because there is no sport, any sport without fans. We all are different, you know. I'm always very into everything I do in my life, 100%. So real emotions every time. And you saw me very intense at the weigh-ins, but I was crying after the fights, you know, after every fight, because I'm a very emotional person. But it's all about being into everything, you know. And I'm like this, you know, in everything I do.
You got to fight in some of the greatest sporting arenas around the world, and you went from that intensity where you're directly looking into your opponent's eyes, and then you would turn and face the crowd. Now, none of us normal people will ever know what this is like. Tom got that today with all the fans chanting his name. You've been there. What is that like?
Extra energy, you know, extra energy, extra motivation to perform even better. And fans always give me extra energy and power. That's why I haven't fought during COVID at Apex, for example, because I need fans to perform better.
Oh, right. Interesting. Another interesting point into this one, McKenzie, was that Tom Aspinall came in as a betting favourite. Curtis Blaydes, who has been around the top of the division for the longest time, fought a who's who at heavyweights, and he's the betting underdog.
You know, it's funny because I am the one from Vegas, so I should know how the Vegas odds work, but I don't. But I do know the impact that wrestling can have on a fight, and it's often misunderstood and a little misrepresented. So people see Curtis Blaydes as a wrestling-based fighter, and some people may think that's boring, but anyone who's been around elite-level wrestling sees so much more to his takedowns. They're very powerful. They're baited very strategically. He takes his opponents to the ground, and he's distributing all of his weight in a way that prevents them from moving.
That's the thing. If someone understands wrestling and grappling, this game in general, can really enjoy it.
It's going to be very interesting when the fight gets to the ground, because it will. What will then happen, because you have a wrestler going against a second-generation Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I mean, that makes for a very interesting matchup.
Great stuff. There's an awful lot to talk about this fight, and sadly we don't have all the time to do so, but let's hear from the main man himself.
Thank you very much. Well, here you are again, top of the marquee at the O2 in London. So what is it that you want to showcase on Saturday?
I don't want to showcase nothing if I don't need to. If I can finish the fight in 30 seconds, I will. But if I need to show more, obviously I'm prepared to show more.
What have you done to ready yourself?
I've just been training for 5 rounds, obviously. I've been working with different guys, different training partners, just pushing myself as hard as I possibly can. I've never been 5 rounds before, so I would be lying to myself if I said that I knew how to deal with it, because I don't. I've dealt with it in training, but have I dealt with it in combat? No. So we're going to find out when it happens.
We most definitely will. Curtis Blaydes has only lost 3 times to 2 of the biggest punchers in the division. Should you be able to finish him, what kind of statement does that make?
It makes a big statement because, as you said, he's difficult to beat and he's certainly difficult to finish. So if I can put a finish on Curtis Blaydes, big statement to the world, definitely.
In terms of recreating the magic for the UK group here, do you think you guys can do it again, and how do you do that?
I don't think we can do it again. I know we can do it again. I feel like this time, today at the weigh-ins, we're going to see an even wilder crowd, and tomorrow night is going to be absolutely insane. We set the bar last time, and I think this time we're just going to smash it straight through. It's going to be a big one.
Can't wait. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, guys. We'll send it back to you.
I can't quite believe that Tom is that cool after facing that army of fans, but he looks ready for the weekend, that's for sure. Here's what we got coming up still in the show. We're going to be talking about the co-main event between Hermansson and Curtis. We've got a very special, totally exclusive chat with Michael Chandler in the back of a taxi, mainly talking about his crown jewels. But first, we're going to dive into the fight between Paddy the Baddy Pimblett and Jordan Levitt. So So McKenzie, Jordan said that he feels he was picked to fight Paddy because his team and the UFC think it will be an easy fight for Paddy the Baddie. And then in response, like Paddy wasn't happy with what he said, and that really did spark what has turned out to be quite the war of words, mainly in one direction from Paddy to Jordan.
Yeah, well, we saw at the weigh-ins just now, the face-off between the two of them was very fun, right? So I think some of the words may be just translating into them just having fun and being them, and I think that's what they have in common, is they're both super authentically them. But when it comes to Jordan's comments, and I think Joanna can comment on this a little better than I can, I don't believe there's an easy fight in the UFC ever, especially when you're matching up against someone who's as creative as Jordan Levitt is, and quite frankly, to use his own words, as awkward in the octagon as he is.
I feel like I don't like to predict the fights because for me it's always 50-50 in the UFC. You know, you can be an underdog, and then the next day, the next fight, you can be fighting for the belt. You know, and I feel like Paddy, he's a creator somehow, you know, and sometimes he can look better or worse, do you say?
Yeah,
the paper,
little, yeah.
you know. But if you're creative, if you have a plan, if you step into the octagon and you stick to your plan, you visualize the victory and you make it. You can become, you know, who you really want to be. And him and Molly, they are different, you know. They are special. I feel.
Big question.
Yeah.
Can you understand anything they say?
No, I can't. I met Molly yesterday before the weigh-ins. She was super happy. She was chasing me to take a picture, and I was super happy to meet her. And she said she wants me to bring some whiskey to the fight. So she told me that after she wins, she will jump, come to me, and we have to have a drink. So I promised. I promised to her that I will have a Howler Head bottle with me at the arena, but after she said some, I was like, I couldn't understand you, and she was laughing at me that I couldn't understand her. But I feel like they are the second generation, you know, like they're so funny, they're very charismatic, you know. I feel like Paddy will deliver, you know, in London.
Yeah, and McKenzie, you got to meet him, spend a little bit of time around the kind of Paddy party, if you like, but you train at the same gym as Jordan. So having that close contact now with both, like how very different are they?
Well, you would think that they're really different, but they're actually, in my opinion, very, very similar, because at their core, they are both so authentically them. Neither of them care what anybody says or what anybody thinks about them. And I think when you are that way, truly, genuinely are that way, you have this level of confidence that, I'm sorry to say, can't be shaken by the people in the O2, can't be shaken by an opponent like Paddy Pimblett. So it doesn't matter where Jordan Levitt is, whether he's at Syndicate in Las Vegas or he's here in London, he's going to be training the same way, doing the same things, twerking his way out of heel hooks. I've seen it in the flesh. And I think that for him, what he said to me on Wednesday was, it doesn't matter where I am, I'm here to do one job, and it's to come here, perform, and get back home to my family. So I think he's a man on a mission, and it's going to be a very interesting matchup between the two of them.
Okay, well, speaking of Paddy, our very own Heidi Andro got to catch up with him after the weigh-ins.
Let's talk about your opponent, because it seems like things have gotten a little personal in this one. You said no one can out-weird me while he's trying, and he said he doesn't pay attention to any of the things that you say. What do you make of that? Has this gotten more personal?
Slightly, like, but it's never personal, is it? It's a fight, you know what I mean? It's a fight at the end of the day, but like, I can't believe he's saying he doesn't take notice of what I say. If he doesn't take notice of what I say, he would have turned up for the little interview we was meant to do together, sitting across the table. If you didn't pay attention to what I say, bro, then you would have turned up for that and just sat there and not paid attention. But you do, because I'm in your head.
How do you finish this one?
I'll knock him out in the first round.
And why is this the fight to show your stand-up?
Because his striking's non-existent. All he's got's a little... No, I was going to say a girly leg kick, but that's disrespectful to the women fighters on the UFC. It's one of the worst leg kicks I've ever seen in my life. That's all he's got. He's got no hands, and I'm going to show me new evolved striking in this fight, and I can't see him getting out the first 2 minutes, to be honest. But we'll see, you know what I mean? He thinks he's going to make it a grappling match. I'm not coming to grapple here. I'm coming to strike, so he's going to have to get me to the floor, and I don't think you can get me down, son.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Paddy the Baddie, you guys, we'll send it back to you.
So Paddy believes that what Jordan calls the white noise is actually getting through. We shall find out later on. But you guys on social media might have found out that the superstar Michael Chandler had lost luggage. Good job that Fight Day Focus was there. We sent a good old traditional black cab and Andy Shepherd with him to go and get some new threads. Check it out.
What's up, Michael? How are you, brother?
I'm good, man.
Come on in. So I've heard you've lost your luggage.
I have
so
lost
we
my-
are going to head into Soho so you can get some new clothes.
Oh,
okay?
God.
Don't worry, I'm not going to be taking you shopping.
Okay. No, you look good though. This is good.
I like it. Okay.
I'm in the same pants that I've traveled in, so. time
We'll
for me
get
to
you some new
new ones,
pants.
yeah.
All right, let's head to Soho.
My wife actually, she said, let's throw one outfit in this carry-on that
Yeah.
we're gonna bring. I'm like, that's a silly idea. We never lose bags. Bags never get lost. And then my bag got lost. Actually, today while she was getting ready, I almost tried to put on a pair of her shorts, but they wouldn't fit. It would have been a funny joke.
Oh, look, the London Eye.
Beautiful.
But talking of eyes, who's caught your eyes on tonight's card?
Oh my gosh! I mean, well, it's a great card that they put together. I think Tom Aspinall. I mean, the way that he has come on in a year or two, and then seeing him today, I actually just saw him yesterday in the lobby. He's a large man. He's a big man, a good athlete.
And another fight that people have got eyes on is that co-main event, and it's a last-minute change for Jack
Yes.
Hermansson. Chris Curtis could pose a lot of problems.
Chris Curtis just fought a couple weeks ago, just won a couple weeks ago, so he was already in shape. He said yes. This is definitely going to be an interesting fight.
Oh look, it's Buckingham Palace.
No, let's go, man. The iconic Buckingham Palace.
So talking about king and queens, who for you, looking at the entire roster of the UFC right now, who's the current king in the UFC?
The most well-known, biggest icon in combat sports is Conor McGregor. He's the king.
And how about queens?
Queen, well, number one, let's tip our hat to the former queen, which was Joanna Jedrzejczyk. I thought she was the greatest striker on the planet, men and women.
Oh look, the Tower of London.
Look at that. It's a beauty.
Of course, that's where the crown jewels are kept. Talk me through the emotions of a professional fighter connecting with your crown jewels.
Well, it's always a delayed reaction. You know, as we all know, it's a delayed reaction. You get hit, and then you feel the initial impact, and it's not until about that 5 seconds later that it really just sinks in, and it's more of a deep depth, like you feel it in your soul more than you feel it actually in your testicles.
Mike, we've just gone over that Tower Bridge. Paddy Pimblett, a fighter I know you're a big fan of. When do you think he'll be ready to bridge the gap between him and those very top flight compared to lightweights?
I think in the next year or so, if he gets past Jordan Levitt this weekend, we want to see him step up again and then step up again. When he does suffer a setback, because he will suffer a setback, we all do, nobody stays undefeated, how does he bounce back from that? Who does he have around him to help him get to that next level?
Have you tried jellied eels?
Jellied eels?
Yeah.
Eels.
Eels.
No.
They are
Jellied.
They are what we would call in this country a delicacy.
Okay. Eels like eels the fish?
Eels the fish.
Oh no.
It's
Like jelly, like jam?
And fish.
Oh boy.
What do you make of the fans here in the UK?
I think the UFC should be here 5 times a year, you know, at least once a quarter. I'm excited to be in the arena tonight, feel the energy. You know, I might even have a pint with, you know, we'll see. So.
Michael, it's been great to chat to you, mate. Have a
Thank you
wonderful
so much.
time in
You too.
London.
I appreciate it.
See you at the venue tonight.
Have a great one.
And Primark's just down there on your left.
Alrighty, perfect. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, well, it's good to see that Michael Chandler knows his fighting and, of course, knows who the true pound-for-pound queen is. But he also dined out on all of the Cockney food that we enjoy here in London. I mean, not me necessarily, but with that, I'm just going to bring this out to set here. Maybe, Joanna, you want a fork? I'll just have one
I'm
here
on
for
special
you,
diet. I don't know if I
Mackenzie.
can.
Oh, I don't know. You're
can.
retired
Oh,
now.
yeah.
That excuse doesn't exist anymore. You're going to need this.
Really?
And
No, I can't eat much. I had some lunch.
oh, it's
before.
okay. You
yeah.
can just have a little
And,
bit.
I had some watermelon on the
I
way
can't
here.
get chubby.
The-
Too chubby.
Listen. I didn't hear any of that. But let's just put one of those on your fork. That's
Ew,
it. Give that,
okay,
Give
hold
that
on.
a good stab.
There's
yeah.
a bone in
Work
the
a little
way.
harder.
Oh,
This
Lord.
is lovely.
Oh, in
So
France
this-
we say cheers.
This is jellied eels,
na
ladies and
zdrowie.
gentlemen.
Bon
Nas-
appetit, na zdrowie.
Okay, ready? 1, 2,
3.
Nostra.
So good.
Oops. Oh.
Oh,
no.
why would you do that?
Oh
Why would
no.
this
Sorry,
is-
guys. This
is
special.
This is a speciality dish here.
Well-
The Cockneys are going to be revolting now that you've done that.
What about
which
you?
is just like
What
what the
about
jelly
you?
eels are, revolting. Didn't fancy it?
No.
How did it smell?
No.
So delicious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you
really great,
but you have a
really
strict
great.
diet still.
Yeah, yes, I do.
That's high in protein, just so you know. But you know who else has like pickled stuff, jelly deals? Let's just call it that. The Swedish folk do. And it just so happens in our co-main event, Jack the Joker Hermansson from Sweden, training in Norway, will be defending his ranking position against Chris Curtis. Take a look at this. So I've heard the words gangster from Chris Curtis all week in reference to Jack, but I think Chris Curtis was a gangster actually for stepping up and taking this fight on late notice. Joanna, short notice fights.
My first title defense, I had 4.5 weeks only. I was defending my belt in Berlin, Germany.
My first title fight.
Alexander
if I ever got to
Gustafsson,
commentate.
Teixeira, they supposed it to be the main event. And UFC called me and I was like, oh, it's my first title defense. I should be somehow more responsible for. I should take more time. But honestly, I didn't care that time, you know. I was always this type of fighter who was willing to fight anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
And I called myself a UFC soldier. And like I said, nothing to lose, only to earn. If you believe in yourself, you can do it. Doesn't matter where and how much time you had to prepare, you know.
Darren Till was the guy that was supposed to be facing Jack Hermansson. Like, in your opinion, do you think this is a tougher fight for Jack than Darren Till?
Well, I can't speak on what the fight would have been, of course, because we will not have Darren in the octagon. But I think for Chris Curtis, he is someone who really embodies the fight anyone, anywhere. It's crazy to say this. He just fought a month ago. He had that decision win over Rodolfo Vieira, and he came backstage, and we were talking about how he just loves to get into fistfights. And then he looked me in the soul and said, I'll fight you if they pay me enough.
Terrifying.
I laughed very nervously, and I changed the subject as quickly as possible. But like, that's why I say he really embodies this anytime, anywhere, anyone, doesn't matter. He was ready to fight me backstage. Thankfully, it didn't happen.
I had so many offers, like guys were like DM me like, I can spar with you. I'm like, what do you mean? What kind of sparring, you know? So let's
I see.
Let's
actually
ask
I
what he meant.
wonder if Chris Curtis would fight Joanna on short
There you go.
notice if they paid him enough. We should
That would
find
be
out.
different. That
We'll
would be
find out
different.
tonight after his fight.
Yeah, well, I have an embarrassing story to share because I didn't quite go late notice with Jack Hermansson, but I was trying to demo a little technique, his famous Joker team, and we were trying to do what he did against David Brunch. It turns out I didn't quite have the structural fortitude that was necessary.
Here we go.
There you go.
And now, when your opponent wants to stand up, if he can, I'm too heavy for John here. Pull forward and finish the Joker team.
Well, I bet the world's terrified of me now.
I think Jack may have exposed your game a little bit, but
Yeah.
that's
What,
okay.
that I haven't got one. yeah, I don't even need you to comment, and I can just see that you're embarrassed in your face right there. Well, we are nearly done for this edition of Fate Day Focus. UFC London Part 2 for 2022 is very nearly here, and we're very excited. But I have to ask, Joanna, what is next?
I did my racing debut last year, so I really want to do Dakar years in a few years, and I need to prepare. But I run a few businesses. I opened my foundation. That I'm always into people, very dedicated. So I want to give this energy and motivation for young people that they can do it. Doesn't matter where they are from, but they can do it, And so that's why I have my foundation, JJ Stars Foundation.
Love it.
And I wanna help them. So I will be focused on doing things, but I wanna be around UFC, and I feel like we will meet in the
We will meet.
future.
That's-
We'll meet again.
Yeah?
When you look like a little
Can you
bit of a
handle
threat.
us for longer?
No. I'm going
Okay, I will work on my British English, British English, so I can understand you more. And yeah, we're gonna see each other soon.
Yeah, we will. But before we get McKenzie, your first London experience, you know, this is going to be a big fight night as well. Are you looking forward to it?
I'm very much so looking forward to it. For the last one, I was watching from my couch, but I could feel the energy inside the O2 all the way in Las Vegas in my tiny one-bedroom apartment. And so it's very nice for the change of scenery. Very happy to be here, so thank you.
Well, and thank you for being here. McKenzie, everyone, right from the fight capital of the world. And of course, the strawweight queen as always, Joanna Jedrzejczyk. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you to you guys for watching. The fights are nearly here. It's going to be spectacular. Enjoy it. We'll see you next time.
Saturday, July 23rd, the UFC returns to London. Curtis Blades looks to use his elite skills to turn back England's own Tom Aspinall, wanting to put on another show-stopping performance in his hometown. Plus a full card of non-stop action. You do not want to miss UFC Fight Night, live from O2 Arena. Check broadcast listings.